This is Damon Stevens with Federal Builders. Today is Sunday, May 30th, 2022, and this is stock market preparation for this week coming up. We're closing out May, coming into a new month, so it'll be interesting to see how the market wants to close this month. Looks like we're going to close hopefully on a positive note. But as we get into this video, we'll talk about how last week ended and what to expect this week possibly as we get into a new month here. But just a note, last Sunday we talked about, trying to break this trend of 7 weeks down, that we should have a green week coming up. That's exactly what happened. So hopefully you all were successful this week and all ended in a very positive note. Coming to this next week, we got to make sure we're not going to have a pullback here after this big run. So we will be coming to some key resistance areas to watch for, but we'll cover that, get you prepped. But so far, everything's looking great this weekend. The futures and Bitcoin had a nice little rally up here back towards resistance. So if you're on that, you made money this weekend as well. So let's get into it, see what's going on in the market and what to look for. Friday, here's Friday. So we closed down Dow Jones up 1.76%, NASDAQ up 3.33%, S&P 500 up 2.47%. Just rocket rides across the board. Tech strong, energy strong, everything's pretty much on this heat map. You can see it's pretty much green across the board. Looking at our scanner here, AVDL, was 133, so that would have been a play. I did not play this one, but some may have. Definitely hit the scanner, definitely gave you opportunities to get in. But let's take a look. I did want to show you what was going on in the ES. This is the S&P 500 futures. So this is what you can trade pretty much 24 hours a day, where the general stock market closes up, the futures continues to play. And that's why I look at this, in our preparation for Monday, because I kind of want to see what the ES did this weekend, as well as Bitcoin, to see if that could help us with a setup for this week. And you see here that basically, just here a few hours ago, I was on this and noticed that we hit this 4,200 area. So on the S&P with a SPY, which is the S&P 500's index fund, the SPY would be at 420. So just take 1 0 off typically, and that's kind of what you see. So that, if the SPY was to do what the the S&P 500 or the mini futures did this weekend, the SPY could possibly reach that 420 on Monday if it had the same rally. And just so you know, if you don't know what this is a deviation channel, this red and green. And so this just gives you an idea of some boundaries. Typically the market, from what I've experienced, moves within 2 to 3 deviation points from the center. So this is on a 4-hour chart. And you see here that we just came up towards the top of that deviation channel. And you see here that we tagged the this line here, which is the 2.0 line, twice here on the mini futures before it kind of broke out above this. So it's almost like a double bottom right here. When you see here, we come up towards that top. So 420 is what I'm looking at possibly for the SPY on Monday. So it looks like if we continue this play out here, Monday could be a green day for us. Tuesday. Looking at the market here, this is Market Watch. So this will show you kind of what's going on the calendar. So look at the calendar. Here's home price index. It will be on Monday or on Tuesday, Wednesday. Manufacturing information comes out. Labor on Thursday, and factory orders, and then non-farm payrolls on Friday, which this can typically will move the market a little bit more. So not a lot of big news this week, but maybe Friday will close out, kind of telling us what where the market's at least coming out of this next week here. So we'll see if we can hit hopefully some new numbers here. Looking at Google here, we added Google last week. Google is just on a rocket ride as well. But we should have some resistance possibly here through this 2255. If we gap above that, we may be able to run up to the 50-day moving average. I think this week, if we hit the 50-day moving average on some of these stocks, it may be an area of a pullback or a test and a pullback if we do hit the 50s. So that's what I'm looking for this week is the 50-day moving average. This is this red line here, possibly being our next resistance area. So looking for Google to break above the 20. If it does, look for a play up to 24.22 area. If it doesn't, if it breaks back down below 22.30, we may be coming right back down here to lows. But so far the momentum is up. Apple, it's on a 1-day chart as well. We got above the 20. We're right at this resistance line that we have, which is kind of what we had back here a little bit. This was March 15th area. So you see this little zone right here. That's kind of what I was looking at as far as resistance. So if we break this 149.88, look for a play up to 155. If we break back down below the 20-day moving average, we could come back possibly and revisit the 137 area. Amazon, you see here. So this looks like this is a 1-day chart. You see this almost looks like a double bottom here. It was put in. So I kind of measured that double bottom, made a new line up here to see where it possibly would go if it was to run this week. Because typically on a double bottom, if you measure that, possibly, it has potential of running up that same length to the next spot up. And if you look at that line, when I put that second line in here, where does it sit? It almost sits right on the 50-day moving average, right across from it, which is at 25.97. So the potential here of Amazon, if the market continues to run, and we're going to use the 50-day as our goal and a testing area, Amazon could possibly run up to 25.97. Now, if it doesn't hold above this 20-day on this week, we could possibly break back down and tag the lows and put a triple bottom in. So we got to really watch, do we break in the morning? Do we gap up or get above 2309? If we get above 2309, and then this 2400 area, looking definitely for a continuation play on Amazon to the high side. Tesla right at the 20 as well, 20 moving average. So you see everything's at the 20. So this is a big test. So if we gap above, or if we can open above these numbers, I think the 50 is the next day, the 50-day moving average is the next run up. So below 760, look for a run up to 844. Below 760, look for a possible play back down here towards in the 600s. NVIDIA is above the 20-day moving average and held. Hasn't been there more than a couple of days, so I'm not real confident of it yet, but boy, what a rally up. So as long as we stay above 180, look for a play up to 200. And if we break back below 180, then look for a play back down towards 158. Facebook. So the Facebook on a 1-day chart, you were just right under the 20. So again, testing area 195. So we can get back, if we can get above 196, look for a play up to 206. If we do not and we break back down, look for support down, hopefully around the 180 area. Shopify, kind of the same thing. I was kind of wondering if this is kind of a double bottom in here. If it is, I take this measurement here and run it up here. So I took this bar, made a copy, put it up here, look where it sits. You see some commonalities here between charts. They pretty much react a lot the same way. So this puts us at 496 if that is the case. So the bulls run this week, we could possibly tag that 50-day moving average at 496. If we break back down below this 20-day moving average, look for a retest of the lows, so possibly a triple bottom in. LRCX it just really ran this week. We're above the 20, above the 50, above the 100. Look for a play up to 550 if the market continues to run. We are, if you look at the deviation bands, we are extended out. Typically, they'll pull back here. You can see kind of how they kind of bounce back and forth. Looking for, some resistance up here, probably a pullback at some point. But LRCX, it just continues to run hard and strong. RK, this is made up of a lot of biotech companies. This is an ETF fund. So this one is really doing well, but it's consolidated down here. It's under this resistance area. It's got to really break above this 45.50 area. If it does, we can run to 51, 52, and that would be up at this first band here and also the 50-day moving average. If it breaks below 44.50, look for a play back down possibly to 40 or even maybe down to 35. Berkshire Hathaway, a nice run. We're above the 20-day moving average. The 50's at 322, so look for some resistance at 322.68 area. 325.63. If I break that area, we have a nice range up here to 340.55. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, join us, and we'll continue to bring these videos to you. And hopefully you're finding some value in these. And if so, like the videos, and let's continue bringing this content, and let's make some money together. The dollar comment continues to weaken down here. It's pulling back here. It's just below the 50-day moving average. Look for a play possibly down to this 99.74. This should help us run, although you can see here that on the dollar, that 100-day moving average has been support before. You see 50-day here, and then we're at the 50-day right now. So does it find support right here and bounce off of here, or does it come down and hit 100 like it did back here in February? So just look for a continuation play down here possibly. Gold trying to still break out above that 20. It broke out, failed to break out. It's been hovering below it, trying to break out again. So if we can get above this 1857, look for a play at least to 1877. If we can get to 1890 and break above that, then we got a nice run up towards the top. The VIX pulling down here. We talked about this last week that we really need to pull back from that 35 area down to 25 or below. If we get below that 25 area, this market will be able to continue to run and rocket here. But we do have some resistance here right at 24.74. It's possible to get a bounce off here, which would pull the market down a little bit. So just be cautious on this as we kind of come into this next week here. But yeah, if the VIX can come down here and especially break this 24 area, we have a nice bull run. So while the VIX is pulling down here, possibly to these lower bands to put a double bottom in, we could rally here pretty good. So we just got to keep on that VIX and make sure we know what direction it's going. So S&P 500, I was looking at this, it's just a double bottom here, possibly to a W here. So, where could we run? And we could possibly run up to 429.66 is what the line I have. 429.66 if the bulls get running here. But we do have to break above this 418. So ES futures shows that we were above this level if we equated it to the S&P 500 and we were live today. Then we very well would be above that number. So we'll see if we gap up above there or if we pull back in the evening. But looking if we continue to stay above this 408 area, looking for a play to 420. And if we break 420, then very well could run up here to 429. Triple Qs above the 20, looking for a continuation play up to the 50-day moving average for a test at 319.83. This is the semiconductors. Semiconductors above the 50-day moving average. So we're really playing on this one up to the 100-day moving average is at 253.27. So look for a play up here, find some resistance and possibly pull back a little bit. But if we do break below this 50-day moving average at 241, we could play back down here to the 20-day moving average. IWM is just barely below the 50. So the 50 could be a test again for IWM, but nice rally, nice recovery on IWM. So looking for, resistance possibly at 188.73. If we break that, then 193 would be the next test area. And then up here, to the 100 moving average, which is 196.64. Financials, 50-day, right at the 50 days. So this is 50-day test. So we got to get above, this, hopefully get around over this 35.65 area. If we can, then we can hopefully run up to the 200 and the 100. So that'd be 36.85 area. If we don't hold to that 50, look for a retest down to 20 here, back down around 34.45. Healthcare just blew through everything, man. Just rocket right here. You can see where it ended right here is the same spot we were back here, right here on February 9th. And if we go back here, we were back there again on November. 3rd. So you can see that this and November 19th. So you can see this is a big support area for the healthcare sector. So a big area that we've got to break through. I'm gonna put a line right here. So we've got to, if we get above this 134, we can rally up here towards this gap to fill at 137.56. But if we don't, if this is kind of the line in the sand and we're testing all those lines in the sand here, we very well could have a pullback here and a retest of these lows back down here. But we did have kind of a triple bottom in here, and we're kind of right at that resistance. So I just kind of wanted you to see when I'm looking at it, what I'm looking for when I talk about support and resistance. So we're right there right now on the healthcare. Energy sector, continue making new highs, 88.53. So our next goal up here on this line here, so 88. So basically 89, $90, around 90 to 92 is the range that I have up here. It'll be the next test area for energy if we continue to rock it this week. So here's Bitcoin. So it's 20-day moving average finally went up to tag it, and you can see that it was sloping down. We talked about this last week in our videos. It was kind of sloping down, so they're coming down to meet each other. So we're kind of at 30,500 area. So if we can hold above this, then looking for a rally up here towards 34,000, which is at the 50-day moving average. So looking to see if we can break out. We're definitely going to watch Tuesday morning pre-market to see where Bitcoin's at and we'll see where the futures is at. And that should hopefully give us a clue as to whether we're going to continue starting this week up on Tuesday or if we're going to have a pullback Tuesday. So just keep that in mind. Definitely check those numbers out, or check those charts out. We'll be also on our channel, on our Discord as well. So if you haven't joined that, please join us. The link is on you can find the link below on our website, finwealthlive.com, and definitely join us on that. And we post all of our trades that we're looking at for the day, pre-market with the numbers of getting in and when to get out. Here's Ethereum. We talked about this last week as well, that we're probably coming down to retest this 1701 area. Exactly what we did, bounced right off of it, just as we should. And we're rallying back up here to over 1900. So looking for a retest at 2023 here, where the 20-day moving average is. We can get break through that, then 2365 is the next goal. So, finally getting some activity here on these cryptos. So that's our stocks, our cryptos, the things we're looking at this week. Hopefully we have a bang out week, green week this week. That would be great to have 2 in a row. That would mean the bulls are better in play. If we only got 1 week, it's not strong enough yet for me to think that, to know the bulls are there. We got to put some higher lows and some lower highs in there to show them that we're ready to switch off. So we're working our way to breaking the trend, the downward trend, but we're not there yet. So just be careful. We could definitely see a large pullback here if the bears want to come back and play. I know that they're waiting for us somewhere. Just don't know where it's at for a pullback. But in the meantime, we'll rally with the rally and continue making money on the way up. And when it reverses, we make the money on the way down. So definitely join us. Let's make some money together. Have a great solid week. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night, see how our trades went, and plan out our next day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.